Welcome back to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says.
Do you want me to say something?
I expected you to say something.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Do you want to introduce what we're talking about?
No,
Oh, rude.
I thought you were introducing it.
Okay, so normally we don't get political or real controversial or anything, but today we're gonna because we're talking about abortion.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't even know how you want to start this.
I
Uh,
Do you want to start with what led up to deciding to make an episode about it?
yeah, so we used to belong to some mom groups, and I was a moderator in one of them. She was a moderator in a couple of them, and an admin, whatever. Anyway, they seem to have really gone quite left leaning in there, which is fine. I don't really give a rip. Like, you do you. But there's a huge population of moms that aren't. And some lady, so there had been a couple of posts in there about abortion. Basically, women like, I'm getting an abortion, and they wanted like validation or something. I don't even know. To me, abortion is antithetical to motherhood. I don't want to read it. There was no trigger warning, whatever. And some lady wrote in there, you're such a great mom, thinking about your family. I'm going, what? Like she's killing part of her family. I don't understand. And so I decided to leave. And the reason I left wasn't even because that lady posted that. They claim to be a neutral group. They're not. Because that lady felt completely comfortable telling that lady she was a great mom for aborting her child. But myself and many other people who share my beliefs would not feel free to and weren't free to say, hey, there's other options. Like, I understand that you're in a situation right now where this is not like the best time. There's other options. We couldn't have said that if we tried to say. I didn't try to say it because I knew better. Some other lady did try to say it, and they ejected her from the group, right?
Yes. So I did not see the post. I had already kind of had some thoughts about leaving because of other issues, a whole plethora of things. Um, but she told me about the post. I was at a doctor's appointment or something. I came
Yeah, I was
home.
watching the kids.
You were watching my kids for me. I came home. She told me, "Hey, I'm leaving the groups. This is why." I said, "Okay, like whatever. It is what it is." So I went to see if I could find the post. By that time, the post had already been removed. The original person who posted it took it down. Um, so I wasn't going to make a decision on whether or not to leave based on something I didn't see. That's just how I roll. I want to see it for myself. Because as much as people like to think that other people influence my opinions that heavily, no, I make decisions for myself. Um, so I was not originally going to leave. They were all talking about it they had a chat for the admins, talking
Which I'm not a
about,
part of.
which she was not a part of, knew really nothing that went on there. They were talking in there about different comments that had been put on the post. Basically, a couple were pretty hateful, and per the group rules, I was like, yes, those should have been deleted. One, it doesn't change anybody's mind when they're already contemplating abortion to just sit there and go, well, you're a murderer.
Yeah, that's
Like,
not helpful. So
I,
that's just not helpful.
it's not going to make somebody change the way they are already planning to behave by berating them. So I was totally in agreement with that. Um, and then they were talking about other comments that had been removed because they were spouting pro forced birth nonsense, was the exact wording used.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they got
Such
really
nonsense
upset.
to give birth to your children, especially if you belong to a mother's group.
Right.
Lord.
And then they got upset because you left the group and they were
Well,
like,
and
well,
they got upset about what I put
yeah, because
because I was a moderator. Now, it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. If I was just a member, I wouldn't have. I would have just un
unfollowed,
removed myself from the
removed
group.
yourself. Yeah.
But because I was an admin, or not an admin, because I was a moderator and I had responsibilities, I had to let them know that I was leaving the group. And I'll read you exactly what I said, because I still have it. Oh, here it is. I simply put, I'm sorry, you're going to have to find another moderator. I really can't, in good conscience, be in a group or network that glorifies abortion while silencing anyone who dares to have an opposing opinion. That's it.
Yep.
No fanfare, just find another moderator.
Right. And so then they started talking in the admin chat about the message you sent, and we're not glorifying abortion, and we respect people's opinions, but people need to learn to read the room because that mom wasn't asking for a debate. She was looking for support. I'm like, well, one, she wasn't looking for support.
Oh, she
She
wanted a
was
shout out.
she wanted to shout out what she was doing, and she wanted other people to pat her on the back. I'm
Yep.
not cool with that, but all of that off to the side, I'm like, I was not here for any of this drama that happened. All I'm seeing is your guys' responses to it. I'm like, my mother made her decision to leave the group. That's her choice. I'm like, as far as
And
the
I
rest
made
of
that
it,
decision before I even talked to you.
right.
because because there had been a previous shout out to some lady's abortion, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're such a good mom, and I applaud you, and I'm glad you made this post." I'm not glad you made the post. I didn't want to read the post. Again, no trigger warning. Now, mind you, this is a moms group where a lot of women are in there who have lost their babies, who are dealing with infertility and things like that. They don't want to read that stuff. So there's not even a trigger warning. And then you come across this, and then people are like, "You're such a great mom." I'm like, "What? What?
Well,
Like, what? Like, I'm a bad mom because I put a pillow in a crib?"
and there was a mom who did comment on it because she had dealt with loss and it was a mother's group and she was upset because one, it was a whole post about abortion, glorifying abortion. The moderators of the group were also glorifying the abortion and the choice that she was making. And she said, as a mom who's lost multiple children, this is the most insensitive thing I've ever read. This is supposed to be a safe space for moms. And basically, what you said, like, it's nothing more antithetical to motherhood than
Yeah.
getting an abortion. So I don't know. So I'm not going to say, oh, they removed her. I do know they removed her comment because she spoke up as a mom who had experienced loss, saying, this is incredibly selfish. And as somebody who would give anything to be holding my child that I lost, I don't want to read about how you're going to go murder yours tomorrow. Um,
Right. And yeah, they no, just not. I don't want to belong to a group one where I am not free to be myself.
mhm.
And I don't care who knows it. I am against abortion. I do not think that's first of all, my body, my choice. I absolutely believe that. You do what you want to with your body. You do not do something to another person's body, your own child. I'm sorry, there's nobody that can convince me that's okay.
Right. Um,
Period. I don't want my name associated with that. And I certainly don't want to belong to a group where I have to listen to the glorification of something like that. I don't want to.
right. So I ultimately made the decision to leave the group, not because of the post, but because of the way the admin and other moderators were talking. I was like, clearly, this is a space where I'm not wanted. I did not get around to messaging the network owner about it until I was going to message her the next day. I got a text from her in the middle of the night about how she spent time reflecting and wanted to be honest because what happened with my mom left a poor taste in her mouth.
That's me. She's
I'm,
talking about me.
yeah, I'm reading it directly from screenshots. So, um, I know that you're two different people, but I can't help but feel that some of the opinions and sentiments she shared are more closely aligned than I initially realized. So you support opinions and you want people to be able to make discussion and have different views, but because my opinions align with my mother's, or you're assuming they do, you know nothing about my opinions because I didn't speak up on them very much, um, just because it wasn't worth the headache. That wasn't my group, wasn't my purview. But because I disagree with them, I was a problem. But you value difference of opinions. Okay.
And so was she basically trying to say that you influenced my opinion or I influenced yours?
I think a little bit of both because
Because
she
I mean, both
said
offend me a lot.
it's important to acknowledge that your mom was not involved in our chats, discussions, or day to day interactions. The strength of Her opinions she expressed makes me feel that she either had a very specific impression of what was happening or was hearing things very differently than I experienced.
No, I experienced it exactly what happened. It was more than one post glorifying abortion. After the last one I saw, I thought if I see another one of these, I'm out.
Yeah, so she basically put some whole long goodbye about it's time to part ways. I just put, I wanted some time to think on what happened, but I agree that it's time that I'm no longer affiliated with your network. I don't appreciate the implication that I was in some way influencing my mother's opinion of how the network is run, as that was never the case.
As if I could be influenced.
Exactly, exactly.
Like, this woman has known me for a little while. Come on.
Yeah. I said, she did leave because of that post, as well as other prior ones regarding abortion. You wanted to create a space that valued neutrality and support. She views it as an egregious violation of human rights. I hope you would at least understand that, as I imagine if you saw a group staying neutral or even praising someone who was doing something that you felt was a violation of human rights, you would say something. Quite frankly, as I didn't see the post, all I have to go on is what was said in the chats. The admin and other moderators behaved like a pack of wolves to anyone who disagreed, and it really left a poor taste in my mouth. I've said it before, I felt that as if, sorry. I felt as if giving a dissenting opinion would be quashed, and while we tried to work on that, I'm done feeling like I need to stay silent to keep the peace. I wish you the best, and I agree. We very much are on the same page here regarding my involvement with your network. As an addendum, my mother's opinion of the network was formed almost exclusively based on her as a member, not anything within the moderator chats. If that's how she felt, I'm sure she's not the only one.
And I know I wasn't the only one because people have reached out to us from that group since then.
Yes, several people have reached out to me, other moderators and admin who are now no longer affiliated, or they're still affiliated, but they're not really comfortable with the way things happened. And these aren't even all people who agree with us. So,
Yeah.
yes, the nexus of all of this happening was the topic of abortion, and we are going to talk more about that. But this group drama is just ridiculous, and it gets better. So,
Yeah, I mean, I have like a whole long thing from her too about her neutrality. I'm like, bitch, you're not neutral, okay? You're
she's not
just not.
neutral.
And if you wanted to remain neutral, then you don't approve posts that are this hot button.
Yeah,
You
so
know what I
she's,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
so
you know, the country's split in half. You know that people are equally as passionate on both sides about this.
yes. So she put some more stuff. No one was removed for having a different opinion on abortion. People are entitled to their beliefs. What was not acceptable was attacking a mother in crisis and calling her a murderer when she came seeking support. There's a difference between disagreement and cruelty. Now, here's the thing. I totally agree there. I don't think people should have been attacking her. The issue
Mm-mm.
isn't the people it's not that I was supporting the people who were attacking her.
Me neither.
The issue is the people trying to offer alternatives and other resources and convince this woman not to murder her child needlessly were completely shut down. They were referred to as pro forced birthers. They were referred to as anti choicers. They were, the number of, I don't know, pick a slur the left uses to describe anybody who thinks that children are human life that should be protected. All of them. And they were just dogpiling on. And
And you have to remember this is the same group of people who will skewer somebody for putting a pillow in a baby's crib.
for
What the what?
for turning a car seat around too early. If they're not like 6 and the car seat's not still rear facing, they will skewer you.
It's like you care about children except the ones you're carrying? I do not understand. I cannot understand. And I don't want to. I don't want to know what goes through somebody's head to make that okay. I understand people's desperation when you're pregnant and it's unplanned and it's a terrible time. I get that. Believe me, I've been there. Uh, I was, well, yes. Well, I mean, both times. Like your sister, I was married to an abuser who was a drug addict. Like, couldn't have been a worse time. Still loved my kid. I got pregnant with Lauren like very shortly after I married when I was still in court with my ex-husband. We were Like, I mean, we were so broke. It was like worse than broke. And when we got married, we took all the money that people gave us for wedding presents, and we paid our back rent. And then
Mm-hmm.
we had a little bit left over to go out to dinner. And then he started working two jobs the next day, and I got pregnant like not even 2 months after that. So not a good time. So I get, and believe me, I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And, it worked out, obviously, but, so I get the desperation. I really do. I don't get the, you're a great mom and really thinking about your family. I don't, what?
Yep. So, continuing in
Just
this
what?
tirade of messages, she said there was no exit speech needed. Like, it wasn't meant to be an exit speech. It was a discussion of, this is, I'm not comfortable, I'm leaving. I'm letting you know I'm leaving because I had responsibilities.
But I mean, she gave me a big long exit speech.
Right, right.
So she just didn't, she wanted to say her piece, but she didn't want to hear about herself, which is, unfortunately, a lot of women's groups end up like that because women end up acting like a pack of wolves.
Yeah, so she said, what I find disappointing is that neither of you seem willing to acknowledge the behavior that led to this situation in the first place.
I
The
didn't even
issue,
see that behavior.
neither did I.
I
The
left the group
issue
before that.
was never someone's beliefs, it was the choice to weaponize those beliefs against another human being. It was gross, disgusting, and I hope you. Where is it? Sorry, I lost my place. I hope neither of you are ever faced being in a position like that.
Well, I have been.
Yep.
I've been
So,
faced with all kinds of positions.
yeah, so there was a whole lot of assumptions there from somebody who's oh so sweet and tolerant and they love differing opinions and open discussion. That really wasn't about open discussion.
Mm-mm.
So, super funny. But,
Well, and I basically just told her when she was telling me about, oh, we've always tried to remain neutral. I'm like, then why did you approve that post?
well, and if you were trying to remain neutral and you approved the post, why were people who were trying to give her other resources completely silenced? And the people who were praising her were not.
Well, and I mean, I get the hateful comments because that goes against the group rules, but somebody trying to give her resources is not going against the group rules.
Yes,
She just
because,
went against her beliefs because we want to praise abortion. So that's glorifying abortion. I'm not about that life
well, and the one woman,
because I'm about life.
I believe she was removed from the group, and she's the one they referred to as pro forced birth nonsense because she suggested this woman check out another page, and it was information about like crisis pregnancy resources that don't involve killing your kid.
Well, here's the thing. She went on and on about all these like excuses for aborting this child. She's married, but she lost her job 2 months ago. She has twins and she loves them very much. And I just won't be able to like devote myself to them like I if I have another child, because we can't love another child, I guess. Um, all of these things, and then her dilemma was if she has to like look at an ultrasound or something, that would be devastating.
Right. So
Uh,
I'm
what?
I'm going to be as concise as I can here in terms of my stance on abortion. From conception, scientifically, an embryo, a fetus, a zygote, whatever it is at that stage of development, these are all just terms for stages of human development. From its inception, it meets all of the biological criteria for life. That is a living organism. It has its own unique DNA, and that DNA is human. Therefore, in my opinion, it that's a human. That's a living, breathing human being. It is
It's not
not
even just an
you.
opinion, it's science.
It's science, like scientifically backed. That is a human. That is not you. Therefore, by killing it, I do believe that is murder.
Yeah.
I mean, just bottom line, that's it. It's that black and white to me. I'm not saying there should never be an exception made when it's an ectopic pregnancy or it's
Well, an
something that would
ectopic
be.
pregnancy, you cannot bring that child into the world that it will kill you both.
There actually have been cases where it's happened
There's a
successfully,
few,
but
but not usually.
they're the exception, not the rule. So if it is something where you are going to die if this pregnancy continues, or this is a grave risk to your life, your health, and you choose to make that decision, I would never begrudge you for that. You know,
No.
you have to save who you can. It's like any sort of triage situation. You save the one you can.
And here's the thing, like, and we have been in that situation, not us personally, but her sister, my daughter, have been in that situation, you know. And I talked to a lady online, and she was speaking in a hypothetical. It was, a conversation about abortion, and she was like, if it was my daughter on that table, I would tell them, you just, get rid of the baby because my daughter's more important. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying. Like, I do, because you're a mom, I'm a mom. Like, clearly you have an adult daughter and you've raised her and you love her very much. I'm like, but honey, this isn't hypothetical. I've been in this position. I would go, first of all, I go, it wouldn't be your choice. It would be your daughter's choice because she's an adult.
Right.
And she goes, well, I'm saying if my daughter, like, for whatever reason was incapacitated. I said, well, I was there at the birth of my granddaughter. Um, my daughter did die, and she's not
Resuscitated.
dead.
She's
They
fine.
brought her back. Okay. Um, I was terrified, but my daughter, from the minute she got pregnant with her, was like, if it comes down to me or my child, you will save my child. I will bring this child into the world. Period. That is what she wanted. So I told this lady, I'm like, that is what my daughter said. And I said, as her mother, was I terrified? Of course I was. I mean, I had premonitions that my daughter was going to die if she gave birth, and she did. So this was not just a concept for me. This is something that I have known since she was 5. And here, my daughter, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh no. Okay, so I was never as terrified, but also never so proud because she is a mother like me. I loved my babies before they were born. Sorry, that was
No,
emotional.
it's okay. I'm gonna sympathy cry with you. Um,
Yeah, so I told that lady, I go, so if you did that, if that was a choice, which, let me be clear, that's usually not a choice. They
yeah,
can usually, at that stage of the game, they can deliver a live baby and try to save the baby. Ending the pregnancy is what could save the mom, not ending the baby. Okay? Um, but I said, how would your daughter feel if you just totally, like, as much as a good mama as you are, how is your daughter going to feel that you did not respect her as a mother and the
right.
decision that she made? And the lady did kind of change her mind. She was like, I just never really thought of that. And I go, well, right, because it's a weird situation that doesn't happen very much, but I happen to have been in the situation. Now, my daughter was never incapacitated and it was never my choice, but if it had ever come down to my choice, I would have respected what my daughter wanted because even though I never want to lose my daughter, she didn't want to lose her daughter.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people make a lot of assumptions, especially the left is loud. It just is. I mean, we're not making any, you know, we don't usually talk politics. It's a mom podcast. We talk parenting, we talk marriage,
Right.
we talk mom life, but we are not on the left.
No.
So this episode should make that abundantly clear. That doesn't mean we don't welcome moms on the left to watch, um, but
Well,
people
of
on the
course. I
left,
mean, I think we have a lot of common ground as parents, period.
absolutely.
But we don't have common ground on this.
Right. So I think a lot of people on the left are very loud about their belief and how this should be with abortion. And a lot of people on the right don't necessarily speak up quite as much, or if they do, they tend to play it a little closer to the vest. I've noticed people on the right, they aren't going to typically offer up the personal stories. And then people on the left will make assumptions. Well,
Well, they'll be
you've
like, isn't
never
it nice that
experienced.
you had a choice?
Yeah, you had the
Shut up. You had a
privilege.
choice. You did not have to have sex. You could have used birth control. There's like 8 million forms out there. I mean, come on, ladies.
There's like 8 million forms of birth control. Your chances of conceiving in a fertile couple actively trying to get pregnant is only 25% per month. You have a 25% chance of conceiving. And that is somebody who is tracking ovulation, trying to get pregnant, doing everything right. And So I'm not saying, oh, if you get pregnant on accident when you weren't trying or you were actively avoiding, like, screw you. I think you should get help. I think you should get resources. I do not think it is okay to punish an innocent party with the death penalty because you can't face your actions.
Well, and then, I'm from the 80s, and we did not know as much about child development. We just didn't. Okay, so there was a time in my life where I thought maybe it was okay up to a certain point, and that is until I was in high school and I took child development, and I was like, oh, so science will change a view. But plus I was young and not a mom. Um, but so I have several friends who have aborted children, and it didn't always go well for them. It wasn't like they removed the problem and then they went on with life as usual. One of my friends, she has actually committed suicide now. I don't know that she completely did it because of that situation, okay? But many years after the fact, she went into a huge depression because of it.
Hmm.
So like it's like you do it and it's done and you never think about it again. So, there's a lot to think about because what you think at 20 might be different than what you think at 30. And especially after you have children that you love and want, and you're like, wow, you know,
Well, and I also always wonder if abortion is okay, where's the line?
right?
So some people, I've heard the argument of viability, but the age of viability gestationally is different depending where you are in the world. So are children in rural Africa less deserving of life because their age of viability is probably going to be higher with the medical access they have versus somebody giving birth in New York? I watched a video of a couple who had their child very early. I believe it was before the age of, like, viability loosely is defined as 24 weeks.
Mhm.
I watched a couple who had a baby born at 22 weeks who survived, you
And
know?
that one lady who did one of Paige's ultrasounds had her baby at 20 weeks, and her
Yeah,
baby survived. And it's
right.
fine, by the way.
Right. And it's not to say that babies born early are always fine.
No,
Many
they're
children,
not always.
honestly, even if they make it to viability, the chances that they might end up with some sort of lifelong disability when they're born that early is pretty high. So I'm not trying to diminish that either.
Mm-mm.
My point is, where do you draw the line? Are they considered human at that point? Because scientifically, they were always human.
Yeah.
Now, I think in terms of the law, if we're going to push for legislation against abortion, we need to be very specific so that people are not being denied care when they absolutely need it, like ectopic pregnancies.
I
But
honestly don't know how I feel about the law.
I'm on the
I would
fence.
prefer that people don't do it because they don't think it's a good thing to do.
I agree. I would prefer if people recognized that this is an individual human life, this is a unique human life, and they are deserving of the right to life, and they should be protected. Um,
By their mother.
by their mother. And I mean, you do not have to keep that child. And people, I always hear about children aging out of foster care, and foster care is terrible. So why would you want kids in the foster care system? The babies who are being born and placed up for adoption, they are not in the foster care system. And the
No.
point of foster care is not a child adoption agency.
It's to
Foster care,
reunite them with their family eventually if they
right.
can.
The point of foster care is to provide a safe environment. And yes, there are issues with foster care, it's not always safe. It is to provide a safe environment. The goal is reunification, it is not adoption. Some kids will end up being a foster to adopt situation, unfortunately. Um, or
Well, I mean,
fortunately,
and
sometimes that's better.
your great grandmother fostered a lot of children,
Yeah,
a lot of
and a
children in
lot
her
of
life,
special needs children.
mostly special needs children because nobody else wanted them.
Yeah.
And so she had a lot of them. Aunt Dee Dee actually was always a foster child. she wasn't formally adopted, but she just never left.
Yeah, and we
And
love
she
Aunt Dee
was,
Dee.
yeah, she was their, the biological children's sister. I mean, they just called her sister, and she called great grandma mom, and she was just part of the family. She aged out and stayed,
Yep.
and was always part of the family. She has passed away now. She was an older lady, awesome lady, and I think she was the one who told me she was a troubled child before she came there.
Yeah.
So she found, a good home there. So not all foster homes are terrible.
Not all foster homes are terrible. Some of them are actually pretty incredible. And the people who are able to, who open their homes to foster children in need, are amazing most of the time. Um,
Well, and like we have friends that were actually inspired two of the characters in our book that are foster parents, and they're fantastic.
yeah. And then safe haven laws. Safe haven laws exist. I believe to date, every single baby who has been a safe haven surrender has been adopted. So, if you don't know about safe haven laws, probably most people do, up until a certain point, and I don't know if it varies by state or if it's a federal law, but you can drop your kid off at any hospital, fire station, police station, so long as somebody is there, you can drop them off and no questions asked, baby stays, they find it a home. Those placements where they put them, like the safe haven to adopt, it is considered kind of temporary because they have a certain amount of time they can come back.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's like 6 months or something. It probably depends on state. But if you drop your baby off at a safe haven because you're in a desperate situation, there is a certain amount of time where you can reclaim your baby. Like,
yes.
hey, whatever. You were homeless. You didn't know what to do. You were desperate. You wanted your baby to have a good home. You dropped him off, but you're in a better situation now and you thought about it and you're like, no, I'd really like to raise my baby. You can go get your baby.
Yeah. Now, there is some paperwork involved and stuff, especially if you chose, because, like, I know the safe haven baby boxes, I don't know how it is if it's just a regular safe haven surrender. But with the baby boxes, there's like a pamphlet, and it's optional, but you can fill it out if you want. If you do come back to reclaim your baby, I do know there is a process, like they have to prove that it's
Oh,
actually
sure.
yours and all of
Sure.
those things. But so all of that aside, we do have family who have adopted a safe haven baby,
We do.
and that
And
was
they
a
waited a
beautiful thing.
really long time to adopt.
They waited a really long time to adopt. They went through a lot of rigmarole. They cannot have children of their own. They got a call, what was it, like middle of the night or something? Like, hey, we have a kid right now.
I don't know if their particular, I don't really know what their particular case was with the safe haven baby. But, they, she was a safe haven baby, but I knew another person that I worked with. Remember when I used to deliver the school buses?
Hmm.
Him and his wife were foster parents for a really long time. They were trying to adopt a baby for a long time. It's a huge process. And they got a phone call in the middle of the night that a baby was dropped off at a safe haven. And they're like, can you come get her? I think it was a her. It might have been a boy. I don't remember. And they're like, sure. So they came, got the baby. They ended up adopting the baby and they raised the baby and happily ever
So,
after.
I mean, perhaps we're in a bit of a weird spot, or maybe this is more common than, it seems. But
I think we've worked in a lot of places and we've done a lot of things and people do talk to us a lot.
yeah, so we've seen kind of every side of this situation. We've seen the people who've had the abortions. And I would never approach somebody who had an abortion
Like once
hatefully.
it happens like that.
You
That's not.
can't take it back.
No.
But
So I had a friend who got an abortion, and I was perfectly willing to help her raise the baby. Like, you can move in with the baby. We will help you raise the baby. So I put my money where my mouth is. I think life is important. She was going to do it, and then she decided to abort the child. So once she did that, I mean, I can't undo that, right? So now I'm her friend. It's time for me to be compassionate.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit there and berate her. She already did it. Um, but when they talk about abortions being safe, she did almost die because her uterus was perforated, which is a pretty common um, risk,
Complication. Yeah.
complication. Yeah, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Um, so it's not without risk to do. And luckily, she was actually a roommate of one of our friends who was a paramedic who thankfully went and checked on her. And so she did not die, but she was in the hospital for several days and it was pretty bad. Luckily, she was able to have another child,
Yeah.
but
So, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, we've seen every side of this coin, and we still stand firmly on the ground of those children deserve to live. And I know this is coming out, this video is not going to be out for another while after the whole thing went down with that YouTuber who was, his wife was going to get an abortion. Now, I have heard some talk that it may not be true and it may not have actually happened because apparently he's done things like this in the past for views,
attention.
attention. Yeah, some pretty horrific things in the past. That is kind of his MO. So people aren't totally sure if it's true or not. By the time this comes out, we might have all found out it was a hoax. But basically, his wife's getting an abortion because she may have already had it. If it's true, their child was diagnosed with Down syndrome. And I do not support eugenics. And aborting a child because they are disabled is eugenics.
Well, and the thing is, there was a huge public outrage about it. And I'm like, now you're outraged. Because there's a whole bunch of women aborting babies because they find out they're male.
Yeah,
Like, that's just as bad as people throwing their girls away in China because they could only have one kid and they didn't value girls. Like,
yeah.
I don't, it's just such a slippery slope that just causes people to be so evil. Like, I can't understand.
Well, and if you're aborting a child because of a disability, you should probably just never have children anyway, because all of us are just, one accident, one weird diagnosis away from being disabled.
Hmm.
Like anyone can be disabled at any time.
Hmm.
So you might have a kid who's totally normal and they have a traumatic brain injury. Are you now going to go ahead and just chuck them because they're not good enough anymore and you
Right?
can't handle it? Like if you
Or
can't
they
handle
get,
that, get a dog.
or they get Huntington's disease. I know people
Huntington's
that's happened
disease.
to. Yeah.
They end up with Chiari malformation and something wonky goes on and their symptoms get significantly worse and now they actually are disabled. Because Chiari malformation type 1 is not considered a disability unless it's symptomatic enough to impact your life. But the symptoms can get worse with all sorts of things like a car accident, an epidural that's a wet tap, all kinds of things. So, disability is not a reason to abort a child. And if disability is a reason for you to abort a child, just don't have one in the first place. Get a dog. Um, I feel like there was something else I was going to talk about, but oh, with the people being loud about it now who are all outraged. Um, Somebody I saw, I want to say it was the secular pro life group. Somebody on there, I might be wrong, said, your silence is permission. So that's part of why we're talking about this, not just because of the controversy with the mom groups that we went through in depth, but
Yeah,
this
I mean,
is
the
a
mom
very,
group just, that the choice to leave had more to do with the fact that it was becoming a situation where you had to be part of the beehive.
yeah,
And will never, I will never be that.
yeah, you had to be part of the pack or you weren't welcome. And
Or
that was
shut
really,
up, which
or
I
shut
can't
up.
do either.
Right.
Like, I'm physically incapable.
So, like I said, we don't typically get political. This is not a normal show for us, but abortion is something that I view as a violation of human rights. You view as a violation of human rights. And I don't believe it's a topic we can stay silent on. And I know there are other moms out there who agree with us, lots of them. And we welcome you to join us.
You know what? And if you don't agree with us, we're okay with that too. And you're certainly welcome to tell us your viewpoint, but please do so respectfully. We don't need to call each other names. We don't need to um, do all of those things.
And if we don't agree, that doesn't mean I hate you.
No,
That doesn't mean I
Absolutely not.
think you're a terrible person. I will pray for you because I am religious. I will pray that you know, can see things from a more logical perspective and understand that these are human lives we're talking about, literal human lives. So, but I think that's all I got, unless you got something else to complain about.
No, I mean, the subject makes me not happy.
It makes me not happy either. This is not a show I'm greatly enjoying doing, but
Mm-mm.
I think it needed to happen.
Well, I just think children should be protected at all costs. And I think that I can't understand a mom who won't protect their children. I don't understand it.
I mean, I
I
don't
can't
understand it either.
understand it. I cannot. Like when I found out I was pregnant with your sister, I mean, I was a 2 pack a day smoker. I threw my friggin' cigarettes out the window. That's how much I love my child. She was just a pea,
Yeah, they told
you
me my
know?
son might be growth restricted. And there wasn't a whole lot I could do about that, but I did see anecdotal evidence that caffeine could make it worse. I cut caffeine completely that day,
Right.
like the second I read it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
like,
don't
I
get
know
it.
you all quit eating lunch meat,
Lunch meat and sushi.
so you know it's a baby.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I didn't quit eating lunch meat, but we didn't know.
They didn't know, okay?
We didn't
Give her
know.
a break. They didn't know about the lunch meat.
We
To be
didn't
fair,
know.
I didn't know about the lunch meat until my doctor actually explained it to me when I was pregnant with my
My
first
kid,
child.
look at my hair. It's like all kinds of wonky. Um, yeah, my kids are what are, is it survivor bias? Is that what they always say in the
Yeah, they were always
hospital?
crying survivor bias in the mom's group.
Right. My
So,
kids survived so many things like pillows, blankets, crib
blankets,
bumpers. I mean, my kids should be dead right now.
belly sleeping.
Yeah.
So,
Belly sleeping, side sleeping, belly sleeping, all the sleeping.
and I'm not saying that if there's new evidence that comes out that a certain way to do something is safer, that you shouldn't maybe listen to it, but you don't have to shit on people who did things different.
Or, I mean, if you people want to shit on me, I don't really care because I'm Gen X and we really don't care.
I mean,
We have been shat upon since the moment we were born. We're immune.
honestly, go for it. Say whatever you want because I just don't care anymore.
No, I don't care.
Like, I'm raising my kids, I'm living my life. If you don't like it, that sucks for you. So,
Right.
all right, I
Okay.
think we got to end this shit.
Okay.
Subscribe, like, comment, all the things.